We've got a couple guests. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Yes, good afternoon. This is Mike.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Rick.
Hey, good to have you guys. And I wanted to throw a comment out there real quick. We want to keep the last names out of this. They'll just say they're from the southwest border area, and they're here to talk a little bit about what they've been doing. So why don't you guys take it away?
Thank you, boss man.
Okay, very good. This is Mike, and I'll kind of kick out hopefully that we can, some of the things that we can cover today. Give a small briefing about the cartels, maybe try to dispel a little bit of misconceptions, talk a little about insurgency and what we do and how we fit in. That's kind of how that's going to go. Just to kick it off here, have a new website, Sonoran Desert Patrol. And I'm going to turn this over to Rick.
One of the things I want to discuss is insurgency. Talking about not just undocumented aliens and the immigration problem that we're having, but also the narco traffic that we're getting through here through all the cartels. 3 years ago, we were only down to 7 cartels that were running Mexico. Within 3 years, it is bumped up to almost double that now with the cartels and different cartel families. People are starting to get wise to it and also starting to get greedy with it on the other side of the border. You're watching the Sinaloa cartel break off into 3 or 4 cartels off of them. Some work together, some don't work together, like the Juarez family, the Hand of God, the Eye of God. I mean, there's so many of them nowadays, it's not even funny. The latest report that we got that I've known about this for over a year now, but it's finally hit the public, is the Mara Salvatruche, which is the MS-13, is now working together with the Los Zetas. And the Los Zetas are a pretty big cartel also. They have special squads that they have, the 40 and 41. Those 2 squads are your hit units. From there, it strands on to who's pushing the drugs with the Los Zetas, and that's where they brought in the MS-13. The funny thing, though, how this works with these 2 is the Mara Salvatruches will never become a Los Zeta, and a Los Zeta will never become a Mara Salvatruche. Their rules are completely different, but they do respect the fact that they both need to make money, and they both need protection. And that's where the Mara Salvatruche comes in, because there's so many of them. There are over, in the United States alone, there's over 180,000 Mara Salvatruche operatives that are in this country. In the state that we're in right now, we have over 30,000 of them, and that's only in one major city, okay? Not including another city that's down south. So these guys are getting huge, they're getting big, and what's scary is they're quiet right now. You're having a few gun battles here and there out in the desert with other cartels, but they've been quiet in the city. And that tells me that these guys are getting ready for something. There's no gang violence out here right now. There's no gang-on-gang violence, which is real odd. Normally that, the city that we live in is usually hopping with a shooting here or there, and it's been real quiet, which tells me that these guys are actually being able to get all the street gangs to unite together to start working together. Because if you have no bloodshed and no fighting, that doesn't mean your gangs just up and walked away and moved to somewhere else. No, they're quiet, they're underground, and there's a reason why. Again, one of you guys had mentioned it, they're a business. They don't really want a lot of attention on them right now. So they're changing their tactics of going around doing drive-bys and stuff like that. You're not hearing that anymore. You're getting reports now of people being beheaded. And not only being beheaded, but also their hands and their feet taken from them, too, and placed in a different location with their head. There's just so much intel to give to the public, but this is just a taste of what we have to deal with. In the state that we live in, we're up against the Gulf Cartel, the Sinaloa Cartel, and the Los Zeta Cartel. In street gangs, we're dealing with the Mara Salvatruche, and also 18 street gangsters are here now. And they only used to be in California. That these guys have managed to go from California, get shipped back to El Salvador, San Salvador, Ecuador, and all these other countries down south, and then they wound up recruiting hundreds and thousands of their people and bringing them back up. And these guys, there is no fear, there is no code of honor between them, there is no such thing as no women, no children. They will kill anyone and anything that gets in their way. And that's how serious this is. This isn't some made-up Hollywood story. These guys don't really exist, and our border's safer than it ever has been. Well, I got news for you. It's not. It's the worst it's ever been. We're seeing more narco traffic and human trafficking more than immigration right now because there's no jobs in these states, So the immigration problem really isn't that bad. You'll have a trickle of maybe 50, 60 on a weekend versus 500 to 1,000 that they used to get, a year or two, about 2 years ago. Now we're seeing a huge movement with the narco terrorists coming through and human smuggling, where they're actually kidnapping people and running them through the desert. We can decipher, if we spot any of these people, who's the good guy, who's a UDA, which is an undocumented alien, or are these coyotes smuggling these people through. When you see an armed escort in the front and in the back, at that point you know that these people aren't moving, they're not willingly coming up here. These people were kidnapped. And these guys ain't nice. There's none of this, we have a truck waiting for you 8 hours across the border. We're going to get you a ride home. They make these people walk 6, 7, 8 days through the desert. By the time the 5th day rolls around, they're lucky if they have a drop of water left. By the 7th day, they're lucky if they can make it to their destination before they die. These guys are all about the money, and they can care less about humanity. I can confirm that we have found rape trees where these coyotes and cartels who are doing the human smuggling are bringing females back, and one of their tactics is rape, and that's how they make them pay for their trip. And what they do is they'll put their panties and their bras hanging from a tree, which signifies that's their trophy, and their machismo, which in Spanish, machismo is their ego. They got to feed their ego. They're very ego-based and very fear-based people, the cartels are. Mind you, not the UDAs. Completely different. To me, that the cartels are the real-life boogeyman. People say, there's no such thing as the boogeyman, and I tell them, why don't you come out with me and go see, I'll show you the real boogeyman. If these guys ever got their hands on one of me or any of my teammates, I can guarantee you that we would be on some sort of video having our head decapitated. These guys don't want to come over here and make a better life for themselves. They want to destroy everything that they possibly can and dominate it. That's by coming over and poisoning our children, poisoning our family members, poisoning our friends with these narcotics. It's not a joke. We are calling out a distress call for help. We are not putting up the white flag. We are not saying that they won, but we are saying that we need help. America has a misconception of the cartels and I'm going to say this because I hear Americans say this a lot, but they're just stupid Mexicans. Correction. You're dealing with guerrilla warfare and conventional tactics at its finest. These people have billions and billions of dollars to buy everything and anything they need, from FLIR to night vision to radio jamming equipment to even equipment where now they can pick up your cell phone number. These guys are highly sophisticated and highly trained. We have to remember also, it is all over the internet, if you do your homework, that the Los Zetas were trained by American troops here in the States. Some of them were also shipped over to Israel and to go train with the Israelis, with the IDF. So, what does that tell you? Well, that tells me that these guys were trained by the military and they've got their poop together. These guys ain't a bunch of idiots who were farmers at one point in time, decided to go, hey, let's go make some money and grab some guns and go across the border and go sell drugs, These guys are highly educated. They're extremely smart when it comes to street tactics, guerrilla warfare, and insurgency. These guys have been doing this for years, not just 1 or 2 years. This has been going on for quite some time. Now the bloodshed's just getting out of hand, to where now these people are starting to get exposed, and they don't like it. As a matter of fact, this year, 4 reporters have been killed. Last year, they want to say about 75 reporters who have been reporting on the cartels in Mexico have been killed. So these guys don't want their operations to be known by anybody, except for other cartels when they leave their little narco banners for each other. You have a pile of dismembered bodies everywhere. That's the only kind of message they want to send, and that's fear. You mess with us, this was happened to you. Here in America, we don't buy that. Fear is not going to sell me to not go out there anymore. If you shoot at me, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to defend myself. If you try to attack me, that doesn't mean I'm going to drop everything and run. That's not how we operate. We are a certified search and rescue team who go out and search and rescue. And if we come in contact with these guys, we are not afraid to do what we have to do to stop the cartels, which goes from observe and report to where if we see them come through, nobody makes a move. We just get on the phone. We let them know, Border Patrol know their position, which way they're going, and how many vehicles, how many people, how many arms did we see.
You guys, Mark, Mike, and Rick, you're welcome to call in to the Militia Town Hall meeting. Same phone number, same time, tomorrow night, every Friday. Militia Town Hall meeting right here on Liberty Tree Radio. Good night, and y'all bless, and we'll catch you tomorrow.